Western and Asian theater adaptations and similarities. The first one is the Mahabharata by Peter Brook. The Mahabharata was the first Western adaptation of the Indian Sanskrit epic completed in 1987. Following the traditions of Indian theater, the stage used minimal yet symbolic props to help the audience understand the story. The performance also adopted Indian storytelling techniques that were highly philosophical. The music relied on traditional Indian themes due to its traditional nature. However, the adaptation faced some criticism because of the lack of representation for Indian culture. The cast was highly international, but did not include many Indian actors. The second one is a Théâtre du Soleil performance called Tambour sur la Digue. Many Théâtre du Soleil performances have aspects that relate to traditional Asian theater, including the show Tambour sur la Digue, directed by Ariane Mnouchkine. This performance is strongly inspired by the traditional Japanese puppetry performance of Bunraku. The performance incorporates many aspects of Bunraku, such as the visual storytelling using puppets as characters. Like Bunraku, the puppets were used to tell a deep story full of moral battles and lessons. Next one is Mulan by Disney. Mulan is one of the most popular Western adaptations of Chinese traditional theater, although Disney's adaptation of Mulan as an animation, it still incorporates many traditional aspects of Chinese opera. Firstly, colors are used in the film to represent a character's purpose. Secondly, although the music in the movie is not traditional Chinese opera music, it invokes emotions in the same way that a Chinese opera performance would. Thirdly, the story is based on very traditional Chinese themes such as honor and family values. Mulan is also seen practicing martial arts along with other characters. Next one is Madame Butterfly by Giacomo Puccini. Madame Butterfly is an opera performance set in Japan. The story is heavily rooted in Japanese culture and features a heroine named Cao Cao San who shares similarities to the femininity of characters in No and Kabuki theater. Cao Cao San represents the typical female heroine in traditional Japanese theater who makes sacrifices for love. Next one is Kung Fu by David Henry Hwang. Kung Fu is an example of a Western performance that follows the story of a traditional Asian art, specifically martial arts. This performance adopts aspects from Chinese Peking opera. Martial arts is used in traditional Peking opera performances and is often used to aid in storytelling. Kung Fu is an example of how Western performances adopt traditional Asian performances in the sense that it showcases a highly stylized form of martial arts. Next one is The Orphan of Zhao by Gregory Dorn. This adaptation from the performance, originally by Tan Dun, was altered for a Western audience but still maintained many traditional Chinese themes. The original dialogue was used in some points of the performance. The adaptation of the performance also used some Chinese stylistic elements, such as the use of gestures and storytelling. The stage design also followed the original performance's aesthetic. The next similarity are the teaching methods of Jerzy Grotowski. The Polish director Jerzy Grotowski seemed to have been very influenced by Asian theater elements when it came to actor training. Grotowski viewed artists' bodies as a vehicle and used highly physical training for performances. Although his shows were not inherently inspired by Asian theater, the training was inspired by No theater. Actors were trained to control their bodies in order to perform highly stylized movements that were symbolic to the performance. The next similarity is gender bending, specifically in Greece. Greek theater also shared the performative aspect of gender bending. This was when a performer would wear a mask in order to play the opposite gender. In Peking opera, this was often used for male performers to play female characters. Both Greek and Chinese theater typically had all male casts who would dress as females in order to have a variety of characters. Next similarity is the use of masks. Masks were very popular, specifically in Greek theater. Masks are also popular in Peking opera in order to represent a character's motives or purposes in a story through the use of color and design. Masks were also used in No theater, similarly to represent a character's motives by holding slight expressions. No theater and Greek theater are very similar in this way. Both have masks that show a slight expression to represent the overall backstory of a character and what that character's purpose is throughout the story. The last similarity is ritualistic and spiritual elements. Greek theater also often used religious themes in order to deliver a message. The performances often surrounded the gods and told a story regarding moral decisions such as sacrifice. Prayers and offerings were made throughout performances, often including a chorus to portray a spiritual message. Similarly, Asian theater, such as Natya Shastra, is a ritualistic performance that would surround the gods and moral themes. And that's all. Thank you.